welcome to the podcast. Today's guest is James. James, welcome.
Hi, nice to see you, mate.
Yeah, right. So we're in Surrey on a little park lake, bit of a day session for you, just get a bending rod, and you just had a couple, haven't you, before we turned up?
Yeah, it's a lake I actually grew up fishing this lake. I haven't fished it for like years, and no fish had been out. I think one fish had been out actually today, and then the bailiff come round and both my rods went at the same time, and I had two at the same time. So he said that doesn't really happen in the winter. So literally probably about half an hour before you got down.
Yeah,
there,
for December as well. It's bloody lovely, isn't it? Quite mild as well. So fair play. It's a result.
Yeah, nice one.
So we were obviously just mentioning off mic about some of your captures this year. If you go back, you mentioned one of the rides that sounded like a bit of a result.
Yeah,
share that with us, mate.
So basically, the rise over in Essex. It's Essex Carp Syndicate water. A bit of a story behind that one actually, mate. So obviously we all know about lockdown, and we had lockdown, and just after, I think it may be just after lockdown, but maybe a little bit before, I managed to get a ticket at Christchurch in Oxford, which obviously, as everyone knows, is pretty sought after. So I was really excited about fishing that. Then we got locked down, and Christchurch said they weren't open until like June or something, so couldn't really fish anywhere. Obviously no one was allowed to fish anywhere because it was a full lockdown. Then they opened the doors, but Christchurch was still saying they were going to be shut for about a month. So then I was chatting to a good friend of mine, Dave Levy, and he said, why don't you get a ticket on the Rise? And I'd fished the Rise once with him in the winter, but we didn't catch anything, but I've been there, so I sort of knew there was some big fish in there. So I agreed. I was like, do you know what? And I rang my mate, one of my best mates, Coxie, and I said, listen, do you fancy a ticket on the Rise? He'd also got a ticket with me at Christchurch, and he went, yeah, go on then. So anyway, we went, right, got sorted, went and got a ticket, went round there, met Mitch, the guy that owns the place, and decided, right, we're going to go on this day, boiling hot day, I remember, when we had that really hot weather. So it might have been maybe May.
Well. Yeah.
It might have been May, maybe, I think. Really hot, like ridiculous, wasn't it? I love the sun, but my mate Coxie doesn't. And but I said, look, come on, mate, let's go. Anyway, so we got down there, and we had a 48. I think it was like a midweek, and got on the lake, started talking to a few people. Obviously, we were new, so people were like, "Who are you?" sort of thing. And one of the guys said to me, I always remember this. This goes with this story. He was like, "Oh, have you not got a bait boat with you?" And I was like, no, mate. I was like, I've just, it's actually getting fixed at the moment. I've done something to the battery. He went, typical angler. You're not going to catch without a bait boat. It's a very bait boaty lake, which I hate bait boats, but I've got one. It's one of them ones. So we started fishing anyway, and it got to the evening. I'd set up and I'd waited because there was a guy just leaving. I could see lots of fish showing in this area, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going today." So I thought, you know what, I'm going to wait because I can see they're out in front of him. He couldn't stand any longer, so I got in this swim, and I'm spomming away. So I'm just spomming, put a load of bait out, and I thought, you know what, they're used to seeing these parcels of bait on a bait boat. I thought if I get the spom out, spray it around a little bit, put 3 rods like in a line, different hook baits, different rigs, just to test the water sort of thing. I've also got the throwing stick out.
Right.
But at this point, everyone, when I say everyone, if anyone listening knows about the Rise, it's called the Rise because you can literally stand, you're about 12 foot above the water. So everyone stands up.
Right.
And I just felt like I had 20 CCTV cameras on me watching me spom, no pressure, and I could just feel them like thinking, and going back to the guy that said, you're not going to catch without a bait boat. So anyway, I done my thing, put the rods were all out nicely, having a chat with Coxie, and then off to bed sort of thing. And me and him have got this thing where if we fish together, we always have each other on like last speed dial to like always help the other one out or just in case. So anyway, I'm lying there, and I think it was about 3 a.m, and I woke up, and I was like, I woke up for no reason.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, 3 o'clock. Looked at my phone, and then literally you couldn't write it. My rod just melted off. I think it was the middle rod, if I remember rightly. Melted off, and I've just a natural action. I've hit ring to ring Coxie, picked the rod up. And he's gone, what? I went, I've got one. He went, nah, you're joking, never. And I went, listen, get round it. And he'd come flying round in his way. There's fair play to him. He was up. Anyway, playing this fish, he's come round. By the time he's round, it's sort of close to the bank. He's got in the water with the net, and this other guy's come around. Another guy called Dan, actually, we met down there. He's a nice guy, and he's like, "What have you got, mate? What have you got?" And he was looking. He was like, "Mate, that is a big fish," and I was like, "Okay, fair enough." And I'd never had
someone says that when you're playing it.
You're like, "Yeah, nice one, mate."
You could say
That's what I was thinking. I was like, "Yeah, cheers for that." And I'd never had a 40 at this point.
Right.
I'd had plenty of 30s, but I'd never had a 40 anyway, and that was my thing. I wanted to catch 40 this season. And he went, "Mate, that's big," and I was like, "Oh, fucking hell, here we go." So like, Coxie's got. I was like, "Come on, is it in the net? Is it in the net?" And he's got it in the net. And he went, "Mate," he went, "This is a monster." And I said, "Is it? Is it? Let's just get it out." Anyway, I got in the water as well. We got it out together, and I was like, "Mate, this is big." And I've had fish to nearly 50 in France. So I had them in my hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is definitely a 40."
Yeah.
Anyway, got it on the bank. Because it was really, really hot, usually we'd like, a lot of people obviously like, they will put them in the retainer for the morning to get better pictures and stuff. But with the buzz and obviously knowing we wanted to look after the fish, we just took the pictures there and then at night. Probably the worst picture I've ever had in my life.
Right.
The joke of a picture.
Yeah.
Got it on the scales. It's we couldn't lift it and hold the scales. It was like we were shaking. I'm obviously quite a big guy, and I couldn't hold it, so it was swinging around. It was like 45, 48.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, luckily I've got this big pole that's got like the hook on the end."
Yeah.
So I went, "Look after the fish. I'll go and get the pole." Got the pole, and got the scales on the pole, and it like flicked past 50. And the boys were like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, No. And then we settled it, and like every angler knows, you should always be true to yourself. It went 49.12.
Yeah.
Unbelievable buzz. And sent a picture to Dave Levy, who obviously got me on there and stuff.
Yeah.
And he went, "Mate," he rang me straight away in the morning. I sent the picture like 6 in the morning. He rang straight in the morning and went, "Mate, that's Rosebud. Like, that is one of the sought after big girls." He said, "You've gone and caught it on the first night." He said, "You couldn't write that." And he came round in the morning. He only lives down the road. He came round, and then funnily enough, but obviously I don't know, the pictures were horrendous, but new PB. But this guy, the one that said to me, "You wouldn't catch anything without a bait boat," actually come round. He went, "I heard you had one, mate," like sort of all sheepish.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I had one, mate. And he went, "Yeah, it was one of the big ones." And I was like, yeah, it was Rosebud. He went, "Fair play, mate. I like what you've done there." I was like, "You joker." Yesterday, I'm not going to catch because I'm a noddy without a bait boat.
Yeah.
And yeah, mate, that was that's probably the most, because of the background to it. And oh, sorry, actually, like we said off camera earlier, off the mic, I've never been back.
Right.
So I literally done a 48 hours for however much the ticket is.
Yeah.
Caught the 49.12. Left, dropped the mic, and and I've not been back. I'm not going to go back. So
wow,
that was that. Yeah, mate.
How far away is that from you? 'Cause...
So I live sort of like Epsom way.
Right. Okay.
So sort of I live on a bit further.
Yeah.
Towards like Wimbledon, in between Wimbledon and Epsom.
Right.
And so that's about 70 miles because it's quite deep into Essex.
Yeah.
So not too far, but also far enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's not local.
Yeah, and if you've gone and smashed out on the big,
it's hilarious, and I think not going back makes it even better.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I've had that, and new PB probably struggle to break that.
Yeah,
like ounces off 50.
Yeah, that moment when it's flickering. I had exactly, like I said to you again off mic earlier. I had exactly the same thing last month with a few of us, and again same thing. It popped up. And one of them recognised it out of the lake, and it was like the biggest fish in the lake.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
It's mental.
So, yeah, got it. And we weighed it on the pole through the thing similar to you, and same thing. It was like 48, 51 while the fish was settling down. So I was like, oh my God.
What is this?
Yeah, and I'd say 49.10 that one was. But yeah, what a buzz. But
so
you sort of, it's like you're not there, isn't it? In the moment, you're so in the moment.
So buzzing.
You're not there. I've got bits of video that I need to get off a mate, actually. But yeah, it's all just a blur, isn't it?
It literally is a blur, and I can't. All I remember is my back was killing.
Yeah.
And I got a dodgy back anyway.
Right.
And I was lifting it, but the adrenaline kicked in.
Yeah.
And the next day I was in trouble. Like my back was in bits, but the story and the fish and everything about it, and the fact I haven't been back.
Yeah.
And now obviously a new PB. It's it's wicked.
One to
Love it. That's why we go carp fishing.
Yeah.
I suppose.
No, definitely. Yeah. And so obviously Christchurch, have you done much time on there? Well, we won't cover that too much because
Yeah,
it's featured a fair bit on here. So.
Christchurch, yeah, I think obviously you know a few of the boys up at Christchurch. So haven't done that much compared to some of the boys. I've been working a lot and stuff like that, but I think I spent 17 nights up there in the end. Met some great lads, like we said earlier. You've had a few of the boys on here.
Yeah.
And I ended up, I think I had 6 fish, which is pretty good in my first 17 nights.
Yeah.
And the best one was the pretty one. So again, that was the tiny story with that is that I chose a swim that was totally down the other end, a swim called New Bacon. You'll know that, and anyone who fishes Christchurch. But everyone wanted to be down the other end, like nudie, entries. Yeah. Obviously, the plate was always taken the point, and everyone had been on the naturals, like on the worm. And I was like, do you know what? I need to give this worm a good go.
Yeah.
And just done a little bit different. Changed it up a little bit. Fished at another end of the lake too. No one was down my end. Right. That was on my own.
Yeah.
Got that in the net and actually got it in the net. We retained it for like an hour actually because it was really nearly light. And Ben, who you've had on here earlier before. He come round. Obviously, Ben knows all the fish in there, and we've become good mates now. And he come round, and Coxie was there as well. And he got in the water, and he went, mate, that's the pretty one. He said, do you know, like that is sought after. People want to catch that. Yeah. And the pictures. He actually took the pictures, funny enough. Just the best looking fish I've ever caught, and probably struggled to catch a better looking fish.
Yeah. That lake has got some absolute jewels in, hasn't it?
That's my time. I will be on that lake and the complex. I hope probably for the next 6 or 7 years. I'd have thought, especially with Stone Acres there as well.
Yeah.
So mate, that's
brilliant.
That's been wicked. Love the place.
Yeah, nice. Okay, obviously, if we sort of segue on to, you've got an exciting new project on the go with you and Dave. You mentioned Dave earlier, so fill us in about that.
Yeah, so basically, we've seen. Me and Dave, we were having a chat. Well, actually, if I go back to the start, basically, we've seen a few fishing raffle companies coming up, and sort of like they were cool, like but they're very like they were quite small. People were doing it on on a laptop and a mobile. Yeah. And I was like, do you know what? I was like, this could be something if you take it to the next level. So I've done a bit of research and stuff like that, and I wanted to also felt like I wanted to give back a little bit to like the community. Like when I started, I was young and you didn't really have no one to help you. It was just sort of chucked in the deep
or anything like that. Yeah,
no, no one to
ask people, don't you?
Literally.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
I met a guy. Actually, the lake we're at now. I met a guy who's actually still a really good friend of mine, a guy called Rob, and he was older. He's like 20 years older, but he was my helping hand really down here. And but yeah, so I thought, you know what? If we can get this big, we can do something with it. But when I meant big, I thought, right, I need to get a well-known angler involved because that's going to be like, it's going to chuck us up at the platform.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned, over the last couple of years, got quite friendly with Dave Levy, rang him and said, look, I've got this idea, but I want to go full blast. I want to go lottery machines. I want to go full cameras, studio. Yeah. I want to get involved with charities. I want to get involved with... one of the big things we're doing is getting kids into fishing. So we're going to be giving lots of money towards that. That's obviously we're a business, so we're obviously looking to make money, but we are going to be pushing that, and also we're going to choose a charity each and do that as well. So I think the bottom line with it is we're giving people a chance to win. Some of the fishing stuff's not cheap. No. Some of the stuff, like Bezier reels, £500 a reel.
Yeah, rods.
Before you know it, you've got £5 worth of gear easy. So we're just doing nice and fair, proper lottery machines, as you can see on our social media and stuff. And cheap tickets, like you can win a full setup for like $5.99. Right. Like £5 worth of gear. Yeah. And we're working hard on that, and we're nearly ready to launch. Launch just before Christmas. And just trying to get our name out there at the moment, Dom, if I'm honest.
So are you working with every brand going, or are you sort of trying to just associate with a handful of brands?
What we're doing, and again, so that we can stay neutral, and obviously we've got like Dave's involved, and Dave's obviously got his sponsors. Yeah. we're just going to supply everyone. So we're going to give prizes off from everyone. So whether it's sticky, mainline, dynamite, bait wise, or Dower, Shimano, whoever, reel wise, we're going to have no deals with anyone. We're just going to give the whole customer base, because people have got their preferences as well, and we're trying to get. Well, there's about 5 or 6 very well-known anglers as well that hopefully in the new year we're going to be able to announce that they're involved as well.
Right.
And obviously they've all got a sponsor. We just thought, you know what? Let's be neutral. Let's give everyone a chance to win whatever they like, and that way we don't annoy anyone, and we can sort of fit into the market and hopefully flourish really.
So obviously, I assume you've got prizes and everything lined up. What will it? Is it just kit? Is there anything else like?
Yeah. So to start with, we've got a massive free draw. Our free draw, if you literally you have to go on the website, set up an account, which is all free. Nothing's going to cost you money. Is actually going to be a 24-hour tuition with Dave.
Right.
We're going to supply all the bait. We're going to supply all the tackle. We're going to give you a goodie bag full of all that as well.
Right. Brilliant.
And you get a tuition with Dave, which is obviously sought after.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to do from full setups in vans as well.
Right.
We're going to do experiences. We're going to do tuitions. We've got quite a few things up my sleeve that I won't mention just yet, which is going to be surprising. But we're really going to take it to the next level. Basically, is what we're trying to do.
And obviously you mentioned you're going to be launching soon. Before we talk about the launch, when did the idea sort of come into your head, and how long did it take to progress from that, from a seed to where you're at now? Yeah,
so the idea was roughly around pretty much the start of lockdown.
Right.
I've got another business, nothing to do with fishing, but coming to lockdown, I was like, I just really wanted to do something else. Obviously, I love fishing anyway, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to do something to do with fishing, because I didn't want to ruin that. That's my hobby side of it.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's,
with like a brand or something. So this gave me, you got the fun of we're a competition, which is great. We're really social media based, which I like. And I thought, right, let's plan this. But I'm very particular, so I was like, I could have just launched it really quick, 2 months done, gone. But we've spent probably since April, doing all the research. We've got the machines in, we've got the full studio set up. And we haven't really left any stone unturned really. We're just it's been a good 6-7 months, and I've probably worked on it 3-4 days a week of them 7 months, just to behind the scenes, the stuff that people don't see, like yourself. So it's been a long time, and now we're just starting to get the buzz of people are talking about it. And
I've seen it over the last week or so.
Social media's gone pretty mad, hasn't it?
Yeah, really mad.
How
frequent are the draws going to be?
So to start off with, we're going to do a draw every Friday. That's where we need to sell the tickets out. But the market suggests that we do one every Friday.
Right.
But our competitor, I think he does 2 a week. So we'll look to be, hopefully, obviously, when we get big enough, and hopefully we do smash it, we'll be doing 2 a week. Who knows, we might be doing 3 a week.
Right.
And that would probably be between 8 and 12 prizes a draw.
Wow.
So quite a lot.
Full on.
Yeah, really full on.
Just from you saying that, in the back of my head, having the basic understanding of the business, that sounds like a lot of logistical stuff going on in the back end.
Definitely, but another thing side of it, obviously we're really supporting the charity, and really supporting charities, really want to get kids into fishing. Like yourself these days, I've got little ones. My little one spends all his time on his Nintendo. He's only little, but that's the way the world goes. Fishing, you don't see... I love going fishing, but I don't see any 14, 15-year-olds going fishing.
No.
They're on Xboxes and PlayStations and what have you. So we really want to push that. And then, what was I saying? The logistics side, we're going to really support the local tackle shops.
Right.
So with that...
Well, the independent.
Yeah, we're going to support the local ones and other ones, anyone that wants to get involved. But we've got a couple of really local ones that... At the end of the day, we're going to associate ourselves with them, put all the trade their way.
Right.
They'll help us out logistically. We're both helping each other out.
Yeah.
And it's a win-win for the angling market, really.
Nice. So that's good. I think on that note, with independent tackle shops, it's almost going full circle, isn't it? All the bigger, not just in angling, anything, your Tesco, anything.
Yeah.
They've had their sort of say, and I think a lot of people now are rather going to the artisan bakeries and stuff like that, aren't they? Or the little boutique shops.
I think the people I think lockdown and COVID and what have you has also made people think like a bit like more of a community spirit. People think, do you know what? That I've got a small business. Let me support another small business instead of, like you say, the big companies in angling or in everything. Just going, right, we can do it cheaper. Come to us. Obviously, you're going to get people who want to save money, but if every small business helps every other small business, and that's what we're trying to do, and hopefully we're all winning.
And obviously, there's that added value that you're going to probably be able to offer as well. I mean, where obviously I've got a heating business, where I get my boilers from, I know I could get them a little bit cheaper, but the service that the guy offers, he's an independent, that he offers, and his level of technical knowledge has saved me probably thousands in like first time fixes, and just because he's always there on the phone, and I'd rather pay a bit more for him.
Definitely.
And he runs training courses. He's very sort of focused on his customer, which you don't typically get with the biggie. Sort of lose that face, don't you?
I think so. I think that even with my other business, which is a recruitment company, we've always been focused on the customer service. You can't put a price on it. Like you say, you buy something off one of these big companies, you could spend weeks trying to sort anything out if it's broken or whatever, but you deal with a direct small shop, you can walk in the shop and speak to the owner. Now, you might pay a fraction more, but that customer service and like the help is invaluable.
And
there's no cost on that.
It's the review side of things as well, like obviously the word of mouth stuff. I mean, you'll then get recommended for your business, and you'll recommend that business.
Definitely.
That's the way. I mean, there's that post going around social media, isn't there? They say even if you spend very little with a local business, all the things you can do for free: write a review, recommend a friend, blah blah blah, all of that stuff.
That's what we're trying to do with Fisholux. We put posts on, it's like, oh, can people share it, like it, and it takes you 2 seconds. Like don't get me wrong, we had loads of people doing it. More would be amazing. But it takes you 2 seconds. You click share, tag a few friends, and like it might take you 2 seconds, but what you're potentially doing for us is amazing. So
it's opened up to their audience, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, hence why we're sat here now.
Power of the social media.
Oh yeah, it's immense, isn't it? So
We love it.
Let's talk a bit about the launch. When's that, and what's the plan for it?
So the launch is on the 20th of December,
right?
Which is not far away at all.
A week.
So basically we are going to go live from the studio we've got with myself, Dave, another angler called Jacob that people might know.
Right.
And we're just going to be like talking about it. We won't be doing a draw because that's the day our website launches. So that's the day you can buy tickets.
Yeah.
All the week before we're going to be giving away free stuff. Every day actually we're going to give away something free a day up till the launch.
Right.
And then we're going to come live. Website goes live, all the tickets are on sale, massive push on the free draw with Dave, which is there's a limited number of tickets on that as well.
Right.
And just let the world know we're here basically, and hopefully tee ourselves up for a good 2021.
Well, from what you said, and obviously the amount of buzz you've created on social media, it sounds like it's going to be a big one, doesn't it?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think that's the goal. We just want to. We've got many targets, but I think one of our main things is we want to be as well known as the big brands. Obviously, we're not a brand, so we can fit into an already flooded market.
Yeah.
But we want to be the number one at what we're doing, but we want to just have that recognition. We want people to see a Fisholux hoodie or see us at a show or something and know who Fisholux are, like everyone knows all the big brands are.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to achieve.
Awesome. And have you got, obviously because you're a businessman anyway, what's your plan for it sort of further down the line, sort of this time next year?
Yeah, I think this time next year we've got a couple of things I won't mention just yet. Sort of trade secrets as such.
Yeah.
Don't the competitors know in our edges.
No.
But we really want to push the helping side. I know that sounds maybe not cheesy, but we just want to help out. We want to really be like at a point this time next year where the company's like really established. We've got a good following. People are giving people the chance to win some nice stuff.
Yeah.
And also hopefully have made a difference in the youth and getting the youth into angling. And if we can see some youngsters on the bank with some Fisholux hoodies on and stuff, it just put a smile on our face. So that's what we're trying to achieve.
And I think timing-wise, you pretty much got it spot on. Cause obviously, there was that announcement about the amount of extra rod licenses that were sold, wasn't it, during lockdown?
Yeah.
So many people taking it up or getting back into it. So I'd imagine a good fraction of that is probably going to be sort of parents with their children.
I hope so.
Getting them out of the house. So
I think it's just I think the thing with angling, like, you get people who don't fish and they don't get it. Like, I'm sure you've had many a conversation with maybe customers and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't get it, but when they do go fishing, there's so many different. Like, we're fishing here today. We're fishing a runs water. It is the winter, don't get me wrong, but we're fishing a lake that if you don't want to go and sit on a syndicate, you could come down here in the summer and you will catch pretty much 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Now, let the youngsters do that. Let them get excited. If they like it,
Yeah.
then let them step up. And it's just such a good hobby. Like, it's timeless. You can do it all year round.
Yeah.
You can do it when you're 70.
You only need minimal kit, really.
Yeah, you don't need anything. You don't need loads of
better
gear.
sessions have been stalking. One rod, one
It's
minimal kit,
amazing.
isn't it?
Good fun.
Yeah.
And you can just... It's just a good hobby to have because you can fish loads of places. Some of these lakes are like... I'm not someone who loves nature as such, but you fish like beautiful places. You wake up on a summer's morning at like Christchurch.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Hearing 40 pounders lump out.
It's just, unless you do it, like I send my missus pictures sometimes of like the sunrises and she's like, oh, that's so beautiful. Like, but we only witness it because we've been up at 4 a.m. outside, like in a bed chair.
I've said that so many times. There's so many things you don't see if you're not an angler.
No,
that you miss out on.
Don't know that 4 a.m. exists, do you?
You wouldn't be. Yeah.
So that if you can get these youngsters seeing this, I think we could kick-start a generation of young anglers getting into fishing again. And if we, as Fisholux, as a company, can be part of that, then we've won. Like, we've done what we need to do.
Brilliant. Are you actively sort of targeting certain generations, like with your marketers, or is that the plan?
Not really, no. Obviously, social media, you don't get the older generation as such. I feel like I'm getting old myself, but you don't get, like, I don't know, let's say 55 plus probably isn't on Instagram as much. So obviously, social media, as we all know, has taken over the world. But so obviously, we're trying to really push on social media. Yeah. But we will be doing. We're going to go like a full-blown advertising campaign. We'll be in like magazines. We're going to be doing other bits and bobs. We want anyone from juniors in angling. Obviously, we are a competition company, so it is like an 18 plus thing. Yeah. Because you obviously got to pay money and stuff. But the juniors, we're going to be chucking the money out to get them back in. But our range of people to actually come and enter, we want to go to everyone. We don't just want to like say, oh, we're only interested in 18 to 30-year-olds. Yeah. We want the 60-year-old man. Of course, he wants to win some fishing gear.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, we want to really be wanted by everyone, I suppose.
Yeah. So there could be some potentially some very happy people this Christmas then.
Massively. Well, we've just obviously what day we're on. We're on today. Yesterday we gave away two £200 goodie bags, like for free. Yeah. And the guys, I spoke to them, and they were both so happy. They're like, "Oh, I'll never win anything. Yeah. Can't believe I've won. I've told my missus, and it's Christmas, and we're going to have all that stuff to them before Christmas. Yeah. Like I said, we're going to give away all this stuff for free before we launch. Yeah. And people could potentially, like, we might have vans full of fishing gear. You potentially could win that for $7.99. You've never got to buy a bit of gear again. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we're looking forward to making a lot of people happy, and yeah, hopefully really smash it, mate.
Yeah, brilliant. So is your fishing going to be on the back burner somewhat?
Oh, it's always on the back burner, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
This year,
snatch chances, haven't you?
Yeah, this year. Yeah. Like I was mentioned earlier, we've got a little bit of a few of us up at Christchurch, and they fished a lot more than me, but they know that I'm out there trying to do something. So I'm happy with that. At the end of the day, I enjoy working, but I also need my fishing. Like, my missus fully understands. She's wicked. She just knows. Like, I always keep the weekends for the kids. I've got 2 little ones and her, and we do the weekends together. Today's a bit different because I'm going to be not working over Christmas and stuff, but I'll still have to fish. I have to fish. Like, I've got my ticket at Christchurch, and fishing's my escape from the world. That's another thing, like getting people into it.
The mental health side of things.
Yeah, massive. Like, we go fishing, it's not just about catching these amazing fish. Like, the amount of laughs we have. Like I said to you, we've got, like, with Ben, Coxie, and mainly Ben's cousin Dibs. Yeah. I couldn't tell you the laughs we've had at Christchurch this year, to the point where we're in tears.
Yeah.
And we've only met, me and Coxie have only met those two this year.
Yeah.
And like we're best of mates up there now, and that's all part of that fishing experience. So these people that don't fish, everyone loves having a laugh. Everyone loves having like the boy time as such, and obviously there's plenty of girls fish now as well.
Yeah.
They have their girl time, and everyone has a laugh, and so I have to keep that regardless of how busy I'm with work. There's always got to be time for fishing.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's so true as well. Obviously, being like busy with the business and everything else, you are almost always snatching at time, aren't you? So I think it's important to not try and compare your results with other people's, isn't it? Because you're not
definitely
them.
No, definitely
you
not.
can soon get lost in it, can't you? You obviously sound like you get head screwed on. You're going for you. That's the main thing. And the results today, you just put a bit more effort in, don't you?
Massively, like you say, like obviously that lake in particular. Some of the boys are up there a lot. Like there's people up there doing 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to be able to compete with that. And I don't want to compete with that.
No.
I don't want to be there 4 nights. I'd never want to be.
Yeah.
And I do my thing. I've done pretty well this year considering how many nights I've done, and that's cool for me. Like I don't want to be a full-time angler or somebody who's after sponsorships and stuff like that. I just do my angling for myself.
Yeah.
And if I can catch some big fish, which I have this year, and some amazing looking ones, that's me done.
Yeah,
that's my fishing.
Yeah, I think 2 nights is always enough for me. If I can get 2 nights in, I'd be happy with that.
It's plenty, isn't it? Like I've done the odd 3-nighter.
Yeah, same.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a treat.
Yeah.
Whereas other boys down there, that's if they don't do that, they're like, oh god, I can only do 2 nights.
I only tend to do a 3-nighter if I'm on fish and catch, and typically I never catch on that last night anyway. So I should just go home and I've caught a few.
I actually done the one when I had the pretty one at Christchurch. That's my last session there. It was back in just the end of October.
Right.
And I was doing the 3rd night and I spoke to my missus. I was like, I usually just do 2, and I said, look, I feel a bit lucky.
Yeah.
And it was actually another reason was it was tipping down rain. I didn't want to pack up in the rain. I think I told her that. I hope I did. But that actually came good because the 3rd night, no one was really. I don't think no one was really catching actually, and it turned on in the morning, and obviously probably the best looking fish I'll ever catch.
Yeah.
So.
How would you reckon that fish is? It's got to be 30, 40 years old, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Probably close to 40 as well by now.
I'd say,
I think it was in there in the 90s, wasn't it?
That one?
Yeah, so...
It's definitely one of the A team.
Yeah.
It's just an unreal fish, isn't it? Well, obviously, they're all unreal.
Yeah.
It is a joke of a lake. But that one is... Yeah, that's one of the jewels in the crown in there. Yeah, definitely.
What about your approach? Are you sort of more of a boilie man? Have you got like a set, typical go-to style? Not
really, no. I don't chop and change as much as such sort of thing. I'd done a tuition back years ago down there with Scott Lloyd,
right?
And learnt a hell of a lot. To be fair to him, he's going to probably laugh listening to this, but to be fair to him, he's a joker, but also a serious angler.
Yeah.
And I'd done the tuition with a mate of mine who wanted me to go with him for his birthday or something. And I took a lot from that. It opened my eyes up to like the next level angling, and I like learning. It's just something I enjoy, and I just took a lot away from that. I listened. I didn't obviously like full on copy what he was saying, but I took a lot, and then I just keep to that. Like I'm happy with my rigs. I will change them for certain situations. Obviously, if I don't want to be on the hard gravel and I want to be in a bit softer sill, I might have a pop up or something like that. And one thing I do is I lightly bait though. I've done quite well up there lightly baiting. Some people just pile the bait in. Yeah. And you're fishing for a bite up there.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
If you were here where we are now today in the summer, you'd pile the bait in because there's quite a lot of fish in here, and you'd easily catch 10 fish. So you want to hold them. But there, as you know, like you catch one, you're really happy. Yeah. So I'm fishing for a bite at a time, and my approach is just sort of, I'm just confident in what I'm doing. It's probably the bottom line. Yeah. That's the best thing to describe it.
Are you happy sort of spending your time finding spots and the spots within spots? That sort of saying, is that?
Yeah, that's definitely a saying now, isn't it? The spot within the spot. I don't know who created that, but massively. I think on a lake like that, loads of weed. not much gravel. You've got certain swims that have got big spots in, like the plate and the point.
Yeah.
They've got big blatant spots.
Yeah.
But like I was saying about that swim when I fished at the other end of the lake, I'd never fished that swim before. And funnily enough, a guy, I can't remember who it was now, but he actually come around, he was like, where'd you have that from? Like, everyone's nosy on that.
Yeah.
And I didn't say like exactly, but I was like, oh, that, like in line with that. He went, what? He said, everyone fishes there. Like, obviously, it's very spotty in Christchurch, isn't it?
I said before, I would do the same, just fish.
I found this other spot,
yeah.
but because I didn't know the swim,
yeah.
and I'm not the sort of
I
person...
think that's an advantage on somewhere like
so.
that, because they get clobbered off those.
Massively.
Those
Like the
spots,
plate
don't they?
is just an absolutely battering ground for fish. Don't get me wrong, if they don't want to feed, they won't feed.
Yeah, that and the point can be very either bang on or absolutely nothing.
This season, massively. Like, I've seen people, if they can't get in there, they sort of sulk and go, which is quite funny. But I think I've actually fished. I haven't fished a swim twice there yet this year, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
I've never had the chance to fish a swim twice. So I'm always led in, looking for spots. I'll always listen to these other spots.
Yeah.
But that one in there was just a case of leading around, and then once you found your spot, working out what your spot actually is. So sort of like go left, go right, go back, go forward, and then understand where you're putting the rig in regard. Do you want to go at the back of the spot? Do you want to go at the front of the spot? Have you got a big weed bed in front of you? And I think my angling this year, because of all that, has really come on. Like, I feel like I'm a lot better angler than I was pre-fishing these sort of lakes.
Yeah.
So which is good. Good fun.
And as well, like I say, you pick up so much from other people as well, just sat chatting or watching them fish.
Massively. But we were saying before we come on here is the level of angler at that lake. Don't get me wrong, there's not like the big named anglers apart from Scott really, who's obviously the most well-known one. He's like Mr. Lynch Hill. Yeah. But there are some very, very good anglers on that lake. Like, you've had a couple on here, but there's not obviously some lakes you'll get like, this is a syndicate of good anglers. I personally would say everyone on there is very capable. Yeah. And I've learned a hell of a lot just watching. Some of the people, like, we've mentioned a few, like, especially when they're fishing in the edge in the summer. Yeah. You'll be watching a guy opposite you, seeing he's in the bushes, there's some great bushes and stuff. Next thing you know, he's next to you. Yeah. And then next thing you know, he's in the corner, and you're like, flipping heck. Like, is this what it's all about? But you talk to him, and they're quite open. There's obviously a little bit clicky with a few people, but the calibre of angler down there is very, very high. Yeah. And really good.
And so you think, have you got the ticket that gets it and enables you to fish Stonecliff as well?
No, so I got myself and, like I was saying, one of my best mates, Coxie, he got we got just we can just fish Christchurch and Willow. Yeah. But I think no one really fishes Willow. Yeah, so
it's a shame. It's a
great lake, but people either go on there for a social. Yeah. The Stoneacres boys will go on there if they're struggling on Stoneacres. Yeah. And then if Christchurch is busy, you're going. It's like it's like second fiddle.
Yeah, like a backup.
But if that lake wasn't at Lynch Hill,
so
you'd have a queue going around the block.
Yeah.
I've had some nice fish out of there. Yeah. But my focus is on Christchurch. I can't technically fish Stoneacres. Yeah. But once I don't want to jump onto Stoneacres. I want to sort of. I could see myself in Christchurch for a couple of years, like maybe 3 years. Yeah. Then get my Stoneacres ticket, have a little go, have a chat with a few boys. I don't know much about Stoneacres. I know obviously what fish are in there, which are just ridiculous. Yeah. But it's a totally different fishing at Stoneacres, so it'd be quite cool. You've got the boat work.
It's almost like starting again, isn't it?
Yeah, I think people say like Stoneacres is the hard lake, right? But is it? Like, Christchurch is hard. You get it wrong at Christchurch, you'll never catch it. Yeah. But eventually I'll hopefully if I get the opportunity, I definitely want to get the ticket where I can fish Stoneacres. Yeah. And then go after some of them special fish in there.
Because they switch on at different times, don't they? As well.
Yeah, I think it's like a March April thing. It's all to do with like the water clarity as well. Yeah. I think if you get a lot of people who can't see the bottom from their boat. Yeah. They're not fishing. Yeah. Whereas you see the hardcore boys are there all year. But I've seen the amount of, like you see in the CAF, the pictures and stuff, and what's in there, and obviously knowing Scott really well and a few of the other boys. There's fish in there that are just a joke. Yeah. They are. There's certain fish in there that are it's like Champions League of football. Yeah. Whereas the Christchurch is the Premier League. Yeah. But yeah, mate, I'm looking forward to all that.
Exciting times. Yeah. Right, so if we sort of just wrap up and let people know the links and everything. So what are you on Instagram for you and for the?
So my Instagram's JamesLB World.
Yeah.
Fisholux is Fisholux, so it's Fish O and then LUX.
Yeah.
That's the same for Instagram and Facebook. The website will be launching, like we said, on the 20th. That's www.fisholux.co.uk. And yeah, we're just hopefully as much support as possible. Hopefully, some of your listeners can be winners.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And
promising.
and yeah, hopefully we could 2021 big plan, charities, get them kids back into angling.
Yeah.
Put some smiles on people's faces, and we'll be happy.
Yeah, awesome. Right, James, we'll wrap up there. Thank you very much, mate.
Thanks for your time, mate.